everyone! So if you follow me on Facebook, you know that I'm going to a soirée tonight, so that's why I'm all dolled up right now. But I figured while I'm wearing this corset, I may as well do a really quick review on it. So right now I'm wearing the Audrey corset by Eternal Spirits. So here's the front, the side, the back, and the other side. The center front of this corset is 14 inches high, and from the waist up to the top of this corset is about 7 inches high. Now, it covers all the essentials, however, I would prefer for it to be a little bit higher. However, that is just me because, as you all know, I have a very long torso in general. For the shape of it, you can see that it gives a gentle hourglass shape, and actually this corset is extremely comfortable. I feel that it has enough room in the hips here, although I'm tempted to open up the top a little bit just to give a little bit more room in the chest here. However, it doesn't give me any pinching whatsoever. It gives a very smooth line, and I also find that despite the fact that the fashion fabric is wrinkling a tiny little bit, it's not so much that it is uncomfortable. And you can see the tag here for Eternal Spirits, and this is a size 10, which corresponds to a 24-inch closed waist. So here is the Audrey corset laying flat, and for materials, I only feel two materials in here. The inside lining here, and it's a lovely kind of pink satin, and then the outside is this gorgeous material. I'm not sure what kind of material it is, but it's a kind of, I guess, poly nylon or maybe some cotton in it mix, and it feels satiny, however, it doesn't have the same sheen to satin. It's almost like shark skin. However, when I feel the thickness of it, it's extremely thick, so it may be reinforced with something. It might be fused to something on the inside. For the construction of this, you can see that it has a closed front, so it has an odd number of panels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the wide front panel. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 panels total. The actual assembly of this corset, you can see that the fashion / strength layer of this corset, those panels were assembled together, and then boning channels were laid down inside the corset, in between the fashion layer and the lining layer, to make these double boning channels. So there's 2 bones on each seam here. And then the lining was sewn on like a pillowcase, and then I guess the whole thing was flipped right side out. It was kind of elusive how this was put together the first time I looked at it, but the only seam that I could find on here was just this tiny little seam on the inside of the lining here. So through this little, I guess, 5-inch hole, the entire corset was flipped right side out. And I'm just keeping the lining side out for a second just because it's a little bit thinner. For a waist tape, I do not feel one and I do not see one. So if you are planning to get this corset, I wouldn't recommend buying it any more than a 3 to 4 inch reduction, because I don't know how this corset is going to react with a reduction any more than that. And because of the way that this corset was constructed, there's actually no binding on this, not on the top or the bottom. The whole thing was flipped right side out like a pillowcase and then pressed down. The outside, the fashion fabric, is just slightly larger than the lining fabric. That's another thing that you can achieve using roll pinning, actually, just so the lining doesn't kind of roll out and see. And the lining isn't even understitched at all. So it really is quite an ingenious piece of work. Because this corset is closed on the front, it doesn't have any Modesty placket. However, there is a Modesty panel on the inside here. It's about 5 inches wide and made out of the same fabric as the rest of the corset. So it has the blue, very thick kind of shark skin satiny outer fabric, and then on the inside it has that pink satiny lining. And once again, because this has a closed front, there is no busk in the center front, and actually there are no bones in the center front either. And I'm a little bit conflicted on that because for most corsets, I like to have quite a stiff center front so that the abdomen doesn't protrude once you start to cinch in the waist. However, on this corset, because it's not a huge reduction, I find that it doesn't give very much of a little pooch on me, so I'm lucky in that respect. However, for those women who have a little bit more of a problem with lower tummy pooch, or anything that they don't want to be protruding in the profile view, then I would suggest getting a different corset with bones in the center front. For bones, this corset has 24 bones total. As I said before, it's double boned on each seam here with spiral steel bones. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 spiral steel bones. And then on the center back, there are quite sturdy 1/4 inch wide flat steel bones. And it does keep the back fairly straight. And here's a close-up of the grommets. They are quite good quality, 2-part size 00 grommets with a medium lip around them, and they grip very well. I don't see any ripping, no fraying or coming away from the fabric here, and there's no splits in the back either. So here's just a close-up of the back of them, and they have rolled beautifully, so you don't have to worry about the laces catching on the fabric. The one thing that does annoy me just a little bit is just the fact that because it has a closed front, I do have to unlace the corset halfway just to be able to pull it over my head. However, that's not really a huge deal because I can always just go to my local fabric store, buy some ribbon in a longer length so that I don't have to keep undoing the laces every time I want to put the corset on or take it off. The laces themselves, the ones that came with this corset, they're quite nice, double-faced baby blue satin ribbon, about I would say 5/8 of an inch wide, very strong. They slide and glide through the grommets very well, so I have no complaints about the quality of the laces that they used. The price for this corset, new from the Eternal Spirits website, is £210 in the UK, which converts to about $335 in the US. However, I bought this on eBay as a sample from one of the boutiques that stock Eternal Spirits corsets for about half price. And now for the bust test. I have to give this corset about a 3 out of 4 on the bust test, just because when I was raising my arms, I didn't feel comfortable. I felt that things were kind of slipping here. So I have to remember at the soirée tonight not to raise my arms. However, if you have a shorter torso than I do, then it should be fine. So that's all for this review of the Audrey Overbust Corset by Eternal Spirits. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please click the like button and help support the channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And I will see you all in the next video.